Hey guys, Callence here, and today we are back with a brand new video where today we're going to be going over some drama that happened on Twitter between two YouTubers known as Boogie2988 and Frank Hassel. And now, I don't usually promote other YouTubers or creators, however, Keemstar is the one that's been covering this drama both on his Twitter and his Storyfire, so link in the description down below to both of those so that you guys can keep up with the drama and stay up to date with the latest scoops, because for me personally, I do not have a contact with any of these YouTubers, so me trying to get the latest scoop for you guys will be kind of hard. However, with all that aside, let's just get into the news. Now, essentially what happened here is that Frank Hassel was a former YouTuber whose channel was terminated. This is because he essentially would harass people on the streets. He'd have a GoPro on his head, and essentially he'd walk up to people and shit talk them and harass them or whatever the case may be. I haven't watched his videos personally, and I don't really necessarily know what exactly he did, so I'm kind of going off of what I've heard from other people who have seen his content, namely Keemstar.
Listen up, people. The YouTuber Boogie2988 is sitting in a closet with a sawed-off shotgun, fearing for his life. This is what happened. There's this other YouTuber by the name of Frank Hassel. Now, Frank Hassel, he harasses people on the streets. That's like his content. Like, he'll go up to someone on the street and just start talking shit to them and film them and put a camera in their face. I gotta say, it's pretty funny content, but it's pretty offensive, and the type of content isn't YouTube friendly. In fact, his YouTube channel just got taken down, and he's blaming it on Boogie2988.
And yeah, he does seem like a jackass, and sure, you can say his content is funny or whatever, but honestly, I do not condone going up to random people on the street and just fucking harassing them for no good reason. But hey, I don't think YouTube should have terminated him. I mean, everyone should have, a platform to speak and do whatever the fuck they want, so long as it's not illegal. However, Frank Hassel blamed Boogie2988 for getting his channel terminated for one reason or another, which led to this whole drama going on now. Essentially, Frank Hassel went on Twitter and he posted a picture of him in Boogie's town. And if you guys don't already know, Boogie has his own mental health issues to deal with, so the fact that Frank Hassel decided to go and try to fucking harass him on the internet and shit like that, it's kind of a dick move if you ask me. And of course, this got Boogie all paranoid and shit, Seeing as he has his mental health issues, I mean, I can't necessarily blame him for going, a little paranoid about what's going on. However, with the following events that went on, I honestly cannot even say he was paranoid at this point, because Frank Hassel legitimately showed up to Boogie's door.
Come on, you fucking pussy, what's the deal? Where's the gun at, you fat faggot? Open fire! Open fire! You're a fat pussy. You won't even open the door?
I will.
And then what, you're going to shoot me? You're going to kill me?
I guess so, buddy. Just give me a second to get my dog right now.
You're a fucking pussy, dude.
Hold on, I'll show you.
Like, no joke, no scam, he literally showed up on his front doorstep. How fucking insane is that shit right here, ladies and gentlemen? The motherfucker not only went to Boogie's town, but he legitimately went onto his front doorstep, knocked on his door, and essentially started to bait him to come outside so he could harass him or some shit. What the fuck? Dude, I don't know why this needs to be said in 2020, but showing up to a YouTuber's house, in fact, showing up to anybody's house, uninvited, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Now, look, I get he was, just trying to make an entertaining video where he harasses people or whatever, but, showing up to someone's house uninvited with the intention to harass and, make fun of them and do all kinds of shit to them is fucking it's fucking annoying. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't want any of you fuckers showing up to my house uninvited. And I don't think I'm being, unreasonable there. I mean, shit. I have every right to, live in peace without having to worry about random assholes coming up to my property. And it's not like this dude was on the street being like, "Hey, Boogie, notice me," while waving his hands frantically, from across the street. He wasn't doing that. He was on Boogie's property, which would obviously give Boogie the right to defend himself and his property, which Boogie ended up doing when he came out and flashed around a gun. Yes, Boogie himself had a gun, and he fired it into the air as a warning shot, which led to Frank just laughing it off and then eventually leaving. And it's kind of the main reason why lots of people are talking about this, because Boogie legitimately shot a fucking gun in a residential area. I know for a fact that guns do have this bad reputation of essentially being this deadly killer, the mainstream media and everything like that, they prop it up as like this deadly weapon. No one should own any of this. It's dangerous. No bueno, God, no bueno. But, what they don't realize is that guns are a tool used for self-defense, and while there are specified rules you have to follow to maintain gun safety, which obviously Boogie didn't follow, guns are still useful tools for self-defense. And do I believe Boogie used the gun in self-defense? No, I think he was incredibly stupid with his use of his gun. I think that he should have flashed it. I think he should have showed it and say, "Hey, look, get off of my property, or I'm gonna call the cops, or I'm gonna shoot you." I think that's a perfectly reasonable defense, Showing that you have a weapon, telling him to back off, to get off your property, that is a perfectly legitimate reason to use your gun. It's being used in self-defense here. It's showing that, if you try to attack me, if you make me feel like my life is legitimately in danger, I will fire to protect myself, my property, my family. However, the fact that he fired a warning shot, and while he didn't shoot it at Frank Hassel, he shot it in the air or some shit, I still think that's incredibly irresponsible move right there. Now, I've already mentioned this on a This Week News episode several months ago. However, I will go over it again. There were 4 main rules to gun safety. First and foremost, finger off the trigger. This is the most important rule of all. Always keep your finger off the trigger unless you intend to use the gun. I mean, you can't pull the trigger if your finger's off the trigger, That's kind of common sense. Now, the second rule kind of coincides with that. Always have the safety on. But unless you intend to use the gun, the safety should be on because, in case your finger slips, you don't want to accidentally fire it at something or someone. Thirdly, never have it loaded unless you're gonna use it. Unless you're at a range or you feel that your life is legitimately in danger, you should never have a gun loaded with ammunition. Because again, even if you have your finger off the trigger and the safety is off, let's say the safety fails, and let's say your finger slips for one reason or another, having no ammunition in the gun can prevent an accidental murder. And the fourth rule, and the rule that Boogie didn't follow in this case, is never aim it at anything you do not wish to destroy. And he aimed it, in the air. And yeah, I get that, he wasn't gonna hurt anything. He's shooting in the air. What the fuck's a bullet gonna hit a fucking bird? Who gives a shit? But still, he's in a residential area, and he's kind of giving gun owners a bad look by firing a gun in the air with no reason to do so whatsoever. Yes, Frank Hassel was on his property, but he wasn't posing a threat when he shot it in the air. I figure having the gun out should be enough to deter Frank Hassel. For fuck's sake, dude, from what I know about him, he's not a criminal, he's just a fucking idiot. But yeah, in this case though, when it comes to the use of the gun, I think Boogie handled it so irresponsibly, dude. You do not shoot a gun in a residential area. And as of right now, lots of people are kind of torn on this. Lots of people are saying that, Boogie had the right to defend himself, which is something I agree with. But a lot of people are saying that he shouldn't have had the gun in the first place, that there was no reasonable threat, he shouldn't have even had the gun out. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below, what are you guys' thoughts on this? But again, for me personally, I believe he should have had the gun out. I believe he had the right to defend himself. However, the fact that he fired it with no reasoning whatsoever, that's where I draw the line. I admit he could have and should have fired it if Frank Hassel started started, running towards him to try and potentially attack him. If that was the case, then yes, maybe using the gun would have been justified. However, he was just standing there, and yes, while he was on his property, having the gun out was clearly enough to thwart him from actually trying to hurt Boogie. So firing it off as a warning shot is ridiculously irresponsible. And in general, this entire fucking drama is so fucking stupid. I mean, Frank should not have gone onto Boogie's property. I mean, it's just common knowledge, you're essentially trespassing, you're harassing the dude, you're threatening him on Twitter and shit. That shit's not okay. You shouldn't be doing that kind of shit. And especially going onto someone's property. I mean, there have been countless YouTubers who've had to deal with this issue of people just coming onto the property thinking that just because they subscribe to you, they have a right to come on your property. It's ridiculous. And in this case, Frank Hassel coming onto his property, potentially being a threat to Boogie. I mean, come on, dude. Like, why the fuck would you do that? I mean, again, I get it. Frank Hassel wants to make a video to entertain his fans, But going onto someone else's property just to harass them because you dislike them is completely irrational behavior. That being said, though, again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. And make sure you turn on those bell notifications if you haven't already. Check out my social media links in the description down below, as well as the links to the sources I use, which is essentially just Keemstar's Storyfire and his Twitter and all the Twitter videos I may or may not have used in this video. That being said, though, hope you guys enjoy. Goodbye and farewell.